when you get to a certain level, the whole thing starts to become a game of how you keep customers, not necessarily how you get them.
A lot of times people think like, why do I need these systems? And if you got, 5, 10, 15 clients, maybe you don't. And you can probably get away because you know all your clients personally. But when you start reaching the level Matt's at, like you start having clients, you don't know their names, you have salespeople, like if the trains do not run on time after clients sign up, it's your face is ultimately attached to it, and you're going to be the one who looks stupid. And the opposite of that is what you're describing, is having a repeatable, workable process and system and tools to design to make sure like everything's happens as it's supposed to. Then what happens is you can handle 55 clients and not have to personally touch all of those.
Right. And to be politically incorrect, you don't want to be like a retard with his hair on fire. And I think
I've been, by the way, so in my first agency, I was the retard with the hair on fire. So I definitely relate to that.
And I think that's what happens at a certain point, right? Which is that people do get 5 clients, 10 clients, and they think everything's fine, but it very quickly degrades into the spinning plate theory, which is that once plate's done spinning, and you have to go catch another one, and the whole thing starts to really cascade. But if you have structures and systems and infrastructure that's all zapped together, or web hooked together, let's just say, and all the systems talk to each other. So when you place an order, it goes through a system of conduits that strip out what needs to be done and delivered into what conduits that need to get the people engaged, and they can be anywhere, right? That doesn't need to be someone's office. And a lot of the times when people come to us, if they're an agency who's using our white label services, they're trying to drive us back into like the Stone Age, and we're like, dude, no, you've got to do it right. Like, you're never going to be able to run this business properly until you start to get process systems and structures. Now, I'll be the first one to admit that none of this is ever perfect, and it changes every day. In fact, we're always evolving as a company and always evolving the processes. But the basic foundation, the pillars that come down into the infrastructure of trying to build out processes that will be able to be scaled on top of whatever else comes down the pipeline. I think we've done that. And I think that's where this conversation should go, so that people understand you don't have to go nuts. I think you have to think about, like, when you get to a certain level, the whole thing starts to become a game of how you keep customers, not necessarily how you get them to
1000%, by the way.
into the door.
That's a writer downer. For those of you guys who don't know that, obviously our good friend Josh Nelson wrote a book on that. I'm a big fan as well of Never Lose a Customer Again by Joey Coleman. But churn is the enemy. Especially as you get bigger, like what you'll find is like you have a real reputation in the industry. Like, people talk about you and your company behind your back. And if you're not managing the churn, like, you can't just fix that with more Facebook ads. If you got, 100 different people in your industry saying like, I would never hire those people again.
Yeah, and a lot of it comes down to the same thing that we talk about with a lot of the people that we work with, and this as well. We're really here to help people guide themselves as a business, right? So it's just not about your ads and your marketing capability. It's your ability to coach the client into a better realm. So if they trust you, you can screw up a little bit, and you can have ads that are off. In fact, I just got a phone call from a client of ours. I thought it was like a telemarketing call. He was just calling me saying, hey, no one's called me back. You never called me back, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what is this about? He's like, and I realized that the person was out of office. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that was a mistake. But the client trusts us. They're like, okay, we're not going anywhere. We just, there's a problem. But I think you elevate yourself to a certain degree when you start to give the coaching level, which can only happen if you've got that structure in place where the people come on board, they have a comfort feeling as they come on board because they're being shuffled through the system. They go, okay, like, this is only taking a couple days to get started. Some people are on me and they're telling me what to do. And a lot of what I see in the agency world is that people get an account and then it's like, then what?
Yeah.
And I think that's a big question mark, right? And
and if you're then whatting it, just like, that's when clients are gone 3 months later, because they can tell, like, you haven't done this before. You don't look like a pro. You don't look like the kind of company that just on stuff. You just look like you know, a single freelancer trying to kind of make it up as you go. And there's definitely an evolution you go through as a company when you go from like freelancer just kind of winging it to like real company that has standardized ways of how you deliver excellent results and experiences for people.
Right, right. And this goes, again, you are what you do what you say what you do. I mean, even if you look behind me, the big, huge banner, my band's there. How do I get, you know, how did I end up playing with 38 Special and George Thorogood and all these like luminaries? Well, it was a process. Like I had it figured out. Like I have people who book my shows. I've got professional people in the band. People always show up. We're always consistent. Like there's a big consistency thing that goes through with everything that you have to do. Your reputation is one thing, but producing results is the real element. Because if you produce results and you do the things that you actually say that you're going to do, the customers will stick with you through thick and thin.
Yeah.
But that comes from that initial foundation. And so what we've done, and as I sent to you, and anybody can watch the video, can probably attach the link to this, and that would give people a really good idea of what we do. But you look at like how we go from A to B, from order coming through, being processed, going through different steps, the stages that you need to think about, the infrastructure you need to have, all those things are already in process and in play. And if people need help with that, they should reach out to someone instead of trying to fumble through it. And as I said, trying to fix your own toilet. Yeah. You're gonna run into some plumbing issues.
Hey guys, if you like this video, you'll probably also like our free Facebook group, Beyond Agency Profits, Agency Lifestyle Design. You can get free copies of the book inside here. I look ridiculous. We're doing weekly Q&As, giving answers to all your questions. Some of the best, smartest, brightest people. We've got lots of industry leaders doing 7, 8 figures and beyond. It's a literal who's who of the brightest agency owners that I know, as well as lots of tips on scaling and stuff, books that work. So if you're not already part of it, you're going to want to be part of it. So make sure to click the link. I put it in the description of the video as well as in the pinned top comment below. So just scroll down and you can join, and it's totally free.